expected, and I certainly did not expect that the Satanic Temple, Arizona would figure so prominently in the film, and specifically Tucson. Tucson is awesome. This is yet another example of why Tucson is awesome. We have a very active Satanic Temple chapter here. I just wanted to say that, I said earlier this was a very special screening. It's a very special screening of Hail Satan because we have several members of the Council of the Satanic Temple, Arizona with us tonight who are going to be here for a Q&A, including Stu DeHaan, who is the spokesperson and attorney, because that's necessary for the Satanic Temple, Arizona, as you will see, and Michelle Short, who's the chapter head of the Satanic Temple, Arizona, and she's awesome, and others as well. And we'll meet them after the film. So we're going to have a Q&A immediately after the film, but in between the end of this film and the start of the Q&A, we have an extra special bonus because there's not enough Satan. We're going to give you Michelle Short, and they're going to come up and introduce some others. Come on up. Here's some stairs. Unless you want to leave, whatever you want. Stairs here. I will also say, right after the movie started, there was a horrible, destructive rainstorm that hit for 10 minutes. I don't want to say it's in any way connected to what just happened here, but it happened.
No more merch sales, I'm sorry guys. We have to put everything away.
Yeah, well you had to save the merchandise. Let me grab, could you have that? Great. So thank you both for being here. Let me pass that to you. And Stu, if you want this one, there's a mic here for you. So I just want to ask you a couple questions, and then we can maybe bring up the rest of the council and open it up to the audience. So I said before the film that I really think every American needs to see this film, and I firmly believe that. When you were making this film, did you see this as a great tool for sort of promoting the political aspects of the temple?
No. We didn't really know what was going on. In fact, it was kind of lucky for us that we were in this film so much because this was a 3-year project. But when the majority of it was being filmed was when Arizona was really taking off. So that's why a lot of our things were featured in there. But for the first, I think, 2 times we met Penny Lane, I didn't know who she was. Lucian told us that she was cleared for media stuff, so I was like, okay. I had no idea I'd be sitting up here and this would be playing in a theater and all over the country. That is not what I expected at all. So this is kind of mind-blowing for us, I think, at this point.
I think when Magnolia picked it up, that's kind of when it really started hitting us that this was going to be a pretty big feature film, and we should prepare ourselves, lock down our profiles, just take precautions because, there's a lot of things that could happen, and, we've noticed an influx in people that are interested, but then we also notice an influx in, crazy messages. So, we just, it's cool, to have this out there for people to understand us a little bit more, but at the same time, it can also be a hindrance in a way. We're really awkward about it.
So what were your expectations when Penny was talking to you? Like, what did you really think was going to happen? Do you think this was just going to be like a little film that maybe didn't get picked up and shown in theaters?
Well, for example, right around the time Michelle and I got involved, there was a Lisa Ling documentary about the Satanic Temple, and no one heard of it. And I don't know if it's because we hadn't done as much at the time, but it was on CNN, and you can find it online and everything, but I don't think many people saw that. And it certainly didn't have that much attention. So I kind of figured it'd be one of those things where people kind of on the inside or knew what we were doing would kind of watch it and show their friends, because that's how that one was for us. I never expected it to be in theaters. I mean, this is, I don't know if Penny did. I don't know if Penny expected Magnolia to pick it up or what, but this wasn't the plan. This wasn't a TST made film. This was from the outside. So we were just kind of there doing our thing while they filmed.
I remember the day she told us, we got a budget for it, and she was super excited, and she could proceed with the film. And, she followed us around for 3 years. She came to a few of our events. She came to the Black Mass in LA. I mean, they were just constantly traveling for any major TST event. So, I mean, they put in a lot of work, and a lot of things got cut out, too. So, here's hoping to, special features, on DVD or something. That'd be really cool.
And you all did a screening last night in Phoenix. Was that the first time you both saw the film was last night?
Well, it was for Michelle. I actually went to the Sundance that was the premiere of it in Utah. So a bunch of us kind of from all over the country met up there, which was cool because I had met some of the people in the film for the first time there, like Hollow Axis, the guy from Detroit, who I really like, the guy that talked about D&D a lot. We've been friends online, it's one of those things, we've been friends online for years, but I never met him in person. So that was kind of a cool little pseudo reunion for people you have never met yet, but been talking to. So yeah, that was the first time I saw it.
Well, I was at that screening in Sundance, and this movie became like the big buzz film. Like no one really knew what it was, and it just sort of succeeded on its own terms, I think, because people didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. I just went because of the title, and I knew that the Satanic Temple was here. I think it really surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, we tend to do that one way or the other. People love to be disappointed in us. The atheists hate us. The religious right hates us. So we just are in kind of our own world. So take it or leave it is kind of our attitude about it.
So who do you feel like your target demographic is? Like, what's the ideal person that you're trying to reach? Who is that person?
We're not trying to reach anybody. I would say I don't care if no one joins again. To us, this is us. If you like it, come and join us, and if not, we don't really care. We don't recruit, we don't convert, we don't proselytize. But we also don't like death threats either. So maybe this movie will create a happy medium.
And just one more question. So what I really appreciate about you, among a lot of things, is in particular your focus on science as a real thing. Thank you for that. Is your sense of humor. Like clearly there's a sense of humor in what you do, which I'm going to say some other organized religions maybe don't have. So is that an important part, kind of the performance aspect of it and sort of the sense of play and fun?
I mean, as Satanists, we really love psychodrama. We love to put on shows that, are metaphorically like cool decorations and aesthetics. Like it's all part of, just the milieu of Satanism. So, yeah, like putting on dramatic performances, it not only gets the message across, but it's also a lot of fun to role play in.
Well, I think a lot of the humorlessness in at least monotheistic religions or Western religion is based on this God-fearing aspect, where if you do anything that's indulgent or something for you that's not keeping, baby Jesus in mind, it's somehow sinful or negative. And this whole concept of God-fearing is something that we heavily reject. If you fear your God, if his love is based on unconditional obedience, we consider that kind of a domestic violence relationship with a deity.
Blasphemy can also serve as a cathartic experience for people who are recovering from an abusive relationship with religion. So to be able to express yourself in that way and not have fucking lightning bolts, hit you because you blasphemed, it's quite liberating. It's you revel in it.
And understanding some of the absurdity on the other side, like the fact that the Ten Commandment statues were from the movie with Charlton Heston that Paramount Pictures sent around the country. That's absurd, and I think the movie really kind of embraces the absurdity of that.
Well, America's based on the. I mean, we have Ronald Reagan. We have, we got the Predator who had what, 2 governors in it. This is a Hollywood world. Of course it was all sensationalized by media. I mean, this whole "In God We Trust" thing. It's a cold until actually I think it was Penny that told me about that. I knew the whole Cold War thing, but in America that's not surprising because a lot of our things are based on entertainment.
Hooray for Hollywood, I always say it. So we're going to open it up now to the audience. Do you want to invite the other council members on stage?
Absolutely.
Yes, let's do
So the Arizona chapter really would be nothing without all of the volunteer work that we have, and especially that of our council. So I would like to invite them up here, just to make themselves known.
Where's William Morrison? Where's he? He's here.
Oh,
Come on up.
he's part of National Council. In the movie, you might recognize him.
In Detroit with Jax, if you agreed with that, if there's more news about that, because I thought she was a great leader, but I do agree with, what she said wasn't cool. So just get your opinion on that.
Jax is a really powerful Satanist, and she's an amazing woman in her own right. Somebody who has that kind of power can use it for good in terms of their community, or they can use it for themselves. And so what you're not seeing on the screen, and I'm just going to be blunt, is that Jax was very self-serving, and the Detroit chapter really, was locked down under her authority, and it was not a community. So we shut it down, and that's the backstory behind that.
And I'll add to that I think that you find in any kind of progressive or revolutionary counterculture movement, you're going to have that dichotomy of the abolitionists and the people that want to do things, try to do within the system incrementally. Jex is an anarchist; she wants to burn it all down. But the problem with that is you end up burning kind of your own side down with it if you do that. Because if we let her do those things that she was doing, they could easily call us terrorists. And then where's that going to land us? We prefer to try to keep things within the realm of using their own kind of weight against the establishment. That's what we find to be more effective than screaming threats that are going to put us in more danger.
Any other questions? How about right here, then I'll get to you.
First, I just want to thank you all for your courage, because taking death threats is
forward, and we don't do that.
Are there any other questions? Yeah.
Fetuses with murder, and I want to know, what is kind of the Satanist response to that? What is the legal action?
All right. So that Missouri case that you saw McNaughton arguing in the Supreme Court, we took that all the way to the Supreme Court. These cases are extremely tricky because you don't just get to fight a bill. If you have a religious discrimination situation, you don't just get to say, hey, this is against what we believe in. You have to have a plaintiff. When you have an abortion situation, you have to have a plaintiff that's a Satanist, that's going to go public and probably get threatened to be raped and killed for doing this. And then you have to get the filing in within the time limit of when they can get an abortion, which in that state is, before they even know they're pregnant, you have to have 6 weeks, you have to have a filing ready. So for our organization to take on a case like that, it seems pretty difficult because of the way that we do things. Also, I don't know what the bill was based on. I don't know if it was religious, because the thing in Missouri was they were giving out pamphlets that you were supposed to read for 3 days.